Alright, hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanics Solo Edition, because, I need a filler episode. No, I mean, yes, really. After the glory of Scrapzilla, Batbeard got sick twice, and Durf went AWOL, and so it's like, well, you know what, the easiest way we can do, everything is actually if I just do a solo episode for a bit. Oh yeah, and for people wondering where Bird is, he's dead as usual. He dies very temporarily, they freeze him, they ship him off in a crate to Seattle, and then he, then they revive him with, the souls of, like, I think 30 pigeons, maybe a bit more. I didn't count the last time I watched. Anyway, but yeah, so they resurrect him, with dark magic. And then he, goes about his normal birdly days. Activities? I don't know. Anyway. Yeah, so that's where Bird is. He'll be back in a couple of days. I just gotta, defrost for a little while longer. Anyway, so what am I gonna do today? I'm actually, okay, so I've been wanting to do this for a while now. I just haven't really had the time to do it. So let's get started. So we want probably this seat. Okay. So, technically, yes. Yeah, that seems small enough. Technically, this idea came from a fan. Though I'm gonna be totally honest, this is not a unique idea, and I should probably totally look up which fan this was, and I'm sorry that I totally don't remember your name. I get, like, like, a couple hundred comments per day, and it makes it a nightmare, and you know what? I should probably look this up. I probably can actually look this up real quick. I don't generally like doing these, but seeing as I'm doing it, and despite the fact that you're totally gonna know this is your idea and whatever, I should probably actually get some credit. I don't know. Life is hard for me. YouTubing is hard. I don't like giving people shoutouts for anything. Let's see if I can just search that. Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, here we are. Random shiz. Thanks. Okay, so Random Shiz suggested, make an X-Wing, and I'm like, maybe if I have time. And then I went off to watch Rogue One, and I'm like, oh, the answer is yes now. So obviously it's not, this is going to be a 2-scale thing. I'm not sure if I want to have the dwarf shown this time or not. I think I will, just because the X-Wing is going to be a little bit bigger, and we're going to have room for a cockpit. Now, luckily the X-Wing is, like, crazy angular and a lot more bulky. Than the R-Wing was. I mean, honestly, I guess I probably could have made the R-Wing bigger, but still. Okay, so let's see what blocks we have available to us, because we got some. I just don't know if they're any good. See, this almost works. The problem is, like, that works. No, it doesn't. Yeah, if you notice, there's this blank space here. You know what? Maybe it does work. Maybe we just have to cover... No. Okay, so here's the problem. If I want to put a block on this... Okay, let's do this. No matter what, this thing is going to have this dumb empty space. I really wish Durf had actually extended this down further, instead of having these empty spaces that can't be filled. I might yell at him about that later. Okay. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna cut the seat out of here for the time being. I'm just gonna use it for two. Yeah. Okay. Let's start grabbing parts. Oh. Okay, there we go. Let's grab some Durfy stability glitches. Actually, I think they're MJM ones. Yeah, here we are. Silent stability glitch. Alright, so we're just gonna want probably 2 of these. I could do 4. Let's do 4. These things have the tendency of tilting pretty bad. So let's start with that. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the basics. I'm gonna make instead of doing what I did with the R-Wing where I made it pretty first, I'm gonna make this one functional first and pretty later. Okay. In retrospect, this actually looks kind of cool. Maybe I should, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Now, sadly, the cockpit itself is gonna have to be a bit smaller. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have the, turning now. I'm just trying to figure this out. This thing is going to be kind of a pain no matter what. They always are. But still. Okay. So we have this. And then it comes forward. Okay, I think I can do this. This is gonna require a lot of restructuring. I've got reference on another screen. Right now, though, not super interested. Right, I was telling Durf to make 1x6 ramps. And he said he'd work on it. Once we get 1x6 ramps, this gets easier too. Okay, then we want some 1x4s. To widen out. Like I said, this probably is going to take some restructuring. I wanna just bash out the initial form, I think, and go from there. Okay, so we got that. It's 3 high. That's a problem. Now, we could cut off the bottom and bring it lower, or I could make it... Yeah, okay. Let's cut these out. I'm gonna cut the bottom off. So it's a little bit... Since I'm not gonna be fitting a dwarf in here, we don't need to be constrained by dwarfish proportions. It'll just be a cockpitless X-Wing for the time being. I keep wanting to say R-Wing. It's a problem. It actually probably would have been easier if I had made an A-Wing or a Y-Wing. If anything, I'd actually almost rather make a Y-Wing to begin with. I don't know how many of you guys ever played Star Wars Battlefront. The original one, not the more recent one. I actually have little to no experience with the more recent one, so please don't, like, say, like, do you play Battlefront? Because I don't. I'm sorry. I'd love to, but, Okay. So this is a bit of a problem. I'm actually going to totally admit I'm using the Lego Lego X-Wing as reference. Whoa, that is a slick-looking... Oh, I see. This is Poe Dameron's. Yeah, the problem is it requires just a little bit too much rampage for my tastes. All of this does, which makes it hard. Yeah, let's see if I can do something like this. Yeah, so the problem is if I want to do stuff like this, it's not going to look right, which sucks. And wait, can I? Okay, hold on. We've got to have a. There we are. Corner 1x8s. Yeah, okay. I'll grade it in this way. I guess let's get let's grab all of our ramps because it pretty much angles up from every spot, then flares back out again for a nose cone, which I might not be able to do. But yeah, this looks decent. Okay, I guess I should probably extend this back a bit. We're gonna have this weird, we are gonna have this weird... No. I'll have ramps to cover it, now that I'm looking at it here. If I wanted to get designery, I could almost, like, pull it back, maybe. But that seems like an awkward proposition anyway. Okay. Might have been easier if I had made this odd, but... Okay. Trying to figure these things out is always a bit of a rough call. Because I don't have the parts to make everything work right, so everything I do for any of these builds is pretty much just pure guesswork and hoping for the best, which is I don't know, I'd say totally fine in my opinion. I actually really like guessing my way through these builds, because it makes it more interesting to me. But it does make it a little bit harder to succeed. Okay, I should probably mention this, by the way. When I was building the R-Wing, I actually got a lot of questions from people asking me, can you build this without mods? And the answer is a very decided no. I'm sorry. I'd love to. I really would. But it's not possible. As the game currently is, there just simply aren't enough parts to Okay, so this isn't gonna quite look like an X-Wing. I flared it out here, but we're gonna have to... Oh, wait, what the... I don't know. I don't know. I really wish there were ways that I could flare things out like this without having it look strange. But I don't. Unless I did... There's probably no way that I can get this to look right. Because I can do that, but that ain't gonna work. And I could do this, and either flare it out gradually, or maybe in kind of this weird slipshod manner. Okay, let's go with slipshod, seeing as everything else doesn't work. Okay. But yeah, as the game currently is, there's no physical way for me to actually make an R-Wing without mods. So for those of you that want this sort of thing, an R-Wing or an X-Wing without mods, like, I could do it, but it would be ugly. I guess for me, I'd rather do accuracy than convenience for the couple of you guys that are unwilling to put the mods in the game. And seriously, like, I have links in the description right there. Please, just do yourself a favor, download the mods, you'll be so much happier with them. And I'll be so much happier not having complaints from people being like, I can't use this. Okay. Sorry. I shouldn't complain about people too much. It's just a constant complaint that I hear every once in a while. It's like, stop using mods. And it's like, why not? They make the game good. Like, I've talked with a bunch of other scrap YouTubers. Who was I talking to? Diesel Designs and Scrap Mechanist. And pretty much all of them were like, yeah, if it weren't for the mods, we probably would have quit a while back. Here, let's make this a bit different. It's not going to be... Okay, it's not going to be a perfect X-Wing, perfect reproduction, but I'm going to build it off of the... I'm going to build it off of the appearance as much as possible, but I'm going to add my own flares, seeing as stuff is a little weird and broken. So we're going to have this, like, little visual change here. Okay. So the biggest problem right now is... There's this nose cone that all X-Wings have. And it's nice, but it's not going to fit. The one way I could do it is actually by going back and making this thing odd. But it wouldn't work great. So we can either spade-head it out, make it look strange, or we can just bring it all together into a point and call it close enough. I think I'm just going to lean for that. If I had the parts for it or the engine... Oh, I was wondering why I wasn't doing the right thing. Okay. If I had the parts for it to actually work right, I'd be 100% down with making this look correct, but without a proper nose cone, the best we can do is that. Sorry. Actually, no. It's gotta be... What I want is something like this. No. effectively this. But I guess that'd just be a regular ramp. Do we do that? Do we just do 1x3s? Because, yeah, X-Wings don't come down into a point. They come down into, like, a line. I guess this works. It's not great. So, like, our other options would be... It is 1x3s. Oh, right. I gotta switch it to L. Like, that's a little bit closer. The only issue is, that's really stinking wide. The other option would be, yeah, make this whole thing odd. Oops. But even then, that might be a little bit on the... Well... No, it might even be better if we did it like this. I'm just gonna futz with things until it looks correct. Because that probably is the closest to what an X-Wing front looks like. But we'd have to... make it wider? I guess there's nothing wrong with adding another... setup here. The only problem is... No. I could maybe make it work. Let's delete these for a second. I'm just gonna put 1x1 ramps down the entire side. Would we rather it not taper and have this? I don't know. And that bothers me. Because, like, I kind of like my original screwdriver nose, but it brings it out to a weird point. Whereas this, it would need to taper. I'd either have to do a couple of, like, weird magic things or do something. I don't know. It'd be really nice if we could actually have, like, a 4-point going down to a 1-point. But that doesn't work so hot. Yeah. Honestly, I think I'm going to go back to my original design. As wrong as it kind of looks, it fits the easiest with my design without being overmassive or unbalanced. And that's probably the easiest explanation I can give, apart from just, look, it's hard. Yeah. It's not perfect. And that annoys me. Because, yeah, the other option is I make this thing really, really big and totally to scale. Maybe with even moving parts, but at that point, I can't use it anymore. And ultimately, I want to make something that I can use as a vehicle. And that comes with its own extra complications. So yeah, it'll be a slightly different X-Wing. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my Lego model, because Poe Dameron's is way too, it's way too slick for what I'm doing here, and that's an annoyance. Okay, question. I guess we should probably start with these. Painting this might be a bit of an issue at some point. But that's a bridge that I will burn when I have to. Okay, if I'm lucky, I can just put this sideways. Yeah, the other issue is we just don't have the parts to make this thing correctly. So yeah, if you guys are familiar with X-Wing designs, this would be, like, way shorter. Now, we could technically use the... Oh, wait. Don't we have the, like, ultra crazy limited nonsense? Yeah, we do. So there is the, there's the really ridiculous Durf, completely modular windshield blocks. But I kind of don't want to use them, mainly because I don't know how. And I'd almost rather just keep working with my limited tool set instead of relying too heavily on that kind of thing. So yeah, this is going to be maybe a little bit of a squat X-Wing. That's a really short front, though. And a really wide cockpit. Let me take a look. I have no idea how this would even work. Like, I'm sure I could figure out with enough work. But it just seems like a decidedly bad idea for this. So here's the question. We got an X-Wing that needs... Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Let's start cutting off the front. I probably should have started with the cockpit first, because it kind of sets the stage for the rest of it. Instead of the nose cone, which, I will admit, is incredibly iconic. But, way too small given our current circumstances. So we're going to make this sucker longer. Like, twice as long. Really, I'm just going to get this to scale first. What do you think? Like that long? Seems reasonable. Interesting point about X-Wings. Yeah, no. They're almost kind of flat on the bottom. Which is weird. I really wish I just had a 3D model I could, like, rotate around here. Do we have one from the top down? No. Huh. Interesting point. My original idea actually might work better. Let's extend this out. Yeah, I'm looking at this now, and it actually... I've got a front on from the Starfighter, and it kind of flares out, but it doesn't flare out nearly as much as the one I had. So it might actually be better if we did my original idea of these all the way down. The only problem is, well, no. Okay. Yeah, there is definitely a flare down from here, but there's no easy way for me to do that. So I'm gonna have to pretty much keep the entire front the way it is. This, as much as I'd love to taper it off properly, or cut it off early, it's no dice. Okay, actually kind of fascinating how many different X-Wing designs there have been kind of on the sly. They like to change the design. I guess it makes sense. You know, I've never messed with this. If I do one of these, if I do that, oh, that actually looks kind of nice. Let's do 1x4. I think 1x8 would maybe be a little bit much, but yeah, that gives it kind of a nice gradation here. And then we can go back to the single ramps for much of this. The interesting problem is, I'm not entirely sure if... Okay. So... Ooh, what if we did... What if we did like this? Because like I said, there's a gradation from top to bottom. Ultimately, all of the problems I see being solved by making this thing longer. Okay, so we can move this part down. Don't think that's rotated correctly. So we can move that down along with all the ramps. We can move this down along with that. Yeah, that could work. I'm just going to keep messing with this. This is going to be an episode of probably failures and experimentations more than actual successes. And I apologize when shit does not fall in line immediately. But I don't really have much of a solution apart from throwing every idea at the wheel and just seeing what I can do. You know, this might actually work. Okay, so we do this. With a 1x8 ramp. This will give it a bit of a scale gradation, and it'll slope down the front. like I want to do. I want a 1x8 in here. Almost be really interesting to do it like that. But it doesn't work so hot. And then we do a 1x1 here. Okay. Yeah, the problem is I almost need something that's like a 1x16 for this. Because, like, I really don't want this gradual slope. So unless I make it that much larger, we either nix this and make it flat like I was doing earlier, move the pieces up, get rid of the cockpit, or after a certain point just stop fiddling with it, because like this almost works. Do you have a better side view of an X-Wing? Because yeah, right now I'm just fiddling with what pieces I have to see what I can do, because I've got nice looking, I got a lot of nice looking parts. I mean, the other option is we actually just leave the nose cone for last, and I figure out how the hell I'm going to do the backside. I mean, luckily the backside's actually kind of almost one of the easiest, because it's just a box with these weird wings coming off the sides, and the weird wings I can definitely do. What if I just search X-Wing side? There we are. Okay. So. Yeah, looking at it from the side kind of confirms what we already know. It really needs to be... Well, no, the weird... Oh man, this is kind of a giant pain in the ass. I'm looking at like 5 different X-Wings here. They actually have completely different slopes. So some of them have no slope at all. Some do and don't. Like, if I had a 1x16 ramp set up, it would work great. But it doesn't. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to delete my way through these. We're going to go back to the original 1x8 ramp idea here. Is that it? There we are. We're going to have 4 of these with a core. I'm not going to have it slope at all, mainly just because it makes it look too thin. If I do any sloping, it'll be towards the end or something. We're also going to have to give up on the idea of the nose cone being what we want it to be, because in no universe is it going to look right. So it's best that I just give up the ghost and we make something that looks decent, instead of wasting our time making something look perfect. And failing miserably, mind you. Okay, let's cut this. Well, the weird part is, like, I don't really know how much I want to cut this down. Because it's not supposed to be this long. It's supposed to be long, but it's not supposed to be that long. It's just also supposed to be longer than this. Well, okay, interesting question. What if we do this? Now that we've got the first set of 1x8s, what if we slope it like that? Okay, that just looks weird. Okay, so that's a no-go. What about this? It slopes it more gradually. Yeah, this seems closer to kind of what we want to do. Gives us kind of a huge area. This actually looks kind of cool if I was making my own thing. But I guess I've already kind of done like this weird spike monster, so let's avoid that for the time being, as cool as it looks. Okay. Now, option A, we could actually do this and do that idea that I had. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make something a little bit different for the sake of looking pretty. Because I really dig how that looks. the slight staggering always looks really nice in my opinion. Because normally it's just this totally flush surface. And we don't really need that. Or want that. Okay, there we go. And then we do this. And that's good. Okay. And technically this gives me space for a nose cone, but honestly, I just don't know what to do with the nose cone. The next problem is I actually might want to move the cockpit up. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, we want to move the cockpit up. In fact, we probably want to move this entire setup up. Yeah. Because I like the framework we've got here, but it doesn't need to be so far back. In fact, having it be so far back is probably actually going to make this worse. So I'm just gonna cut out the suspension glitches. We're just gonna re-weld them on instead of resummoning them. Are they loose? No, they're still connected somewhere. Oh, right here. Okay. Yeah, because I can easily fit the suspension glitches in up a bit. Because part of the reason why it was looking odd is just simply because I wasn't fitting all of this in well. So I probably want to fit that in there. And let's see. It's probably, let me look. No, these are regular blocks here. At least initially. Oh, this is weirdly tight. Whatever. I mean, really, I just need a basic bearing here. And a little bit more. Okay, fiddling the game. Wow, we've already been going for half an hour. Oh man, this is gonna take more effort than I thought it was going to. Well, that's okay. I mean, it's nice to actually have these long builds occasionally. They're fun to do. Okay, so let's figure out where in the world do we want this cockpit? Because yeah, if I can't get the gradual slope, then I'll just kind of fake. Well, actually, you know what? No, we're limited here, so we should probably do it right there. Maybe back one more. It's not much of a progress over what we had earlier. So we could do it there, or we could do it there. There's probably fine. There. Okay, so it's not much farther forward than it was earlier. And it still has this, like, dumb sloping issue, but after a certain point, there's no fixing it. Like, if there was a nice little half ramp we could put in here, that'd be great. Alright. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's actually technically doable. I'm gonna need an invisible bearing for this. Okay. And now that I'm thinking about it, we actually want to do... Yeah. Just looks a little weird. But no matter what, well, we all knew this was going to look weird. Oh, crap. You know what? We want low collision blocks on both ends. Because otherwise it's just going to do weird stuff. Okay, so is that bearing still there? It is. Good. So low collision, low collision. Normal collision. And that. Actually, hold on. You know, we can actually make this work in our favor. So 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. I'm actually gonna have this... Uh-oh. What did I delete? Oh, there's just a regular block here? Good, 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 good. Yeah, I forgot you can delete straight through no collision blocks. Or low collision blocks. Which is always a little scary. We should probably save this before I get too far. So 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. And I'll fit the suspension on, or not suspension in, on. The other stuff on later. Anyway, so this way we can actually fit controllers and some other stuff in here. And actually have it work. Nah, probably shouldn't have put it there. Whatever. Okay. Figure this sucker's gonna need or have issues with suspension. Okay, I'm gonna switch one of these out for a paddle latch switch. Maybe I'll switch them both out. Oh, wait, does that? Oh, it does. Okay, so we're probably gonna want it sideways. I'll do it for both. It might show through a little bit, but it'll be worth it. Okay. So we're going to bring this all the way down. So 90 degrees, but not. Let's do 85. Does that work? I have no idea. A little bit more than 85. Let's try like... Honestly, let's try like 88 and see if that works. Okay. That kind of works. Gives us a little bit more textural differences. Looks pretty decent. I could even have the whole, like, front top part pop off and lift up like this, but that gives us kind of more structural integrity issues, and I kind of don't want to deal with those. Okay, there we go. Yeah! Okay, so it's not a perfect anti-slope. But it'll be fine. Gives me plenty of room. Nice textural thing. Helps with the sloping issues. And I don't know. Anyway, let's get the rest of this. Honestly, I don't really have much of a solution here, so I'm just gonna go with the originally proposed lazy man's option of that. It's not great, but there's no way I can make a normal X-wing nose work. Unless I use some kind of, like, weird bearing movement system, but I kind of don't want this thing to animate too much. Because I do actually want to be able to fly this thing around and do stuff with it. And it would be kind of bad if it broke on me. So let's do one last thing before we go. Let's fix that. Okay. Got 2 there. Okay, let's see. It's the 1x8. There we are. Is that it? That's it. I figured I'd add a little bit more surface texture and sloping and stuff like this. So, yeah. Again, it's not going to look like a real X-Wing. It's going to look like a Wanderbot special. It's also going to be pristine white, just because what's the other option? Straight up yellow here? I guess we've got this, like, awkward cream. You know what? Actually, that's pretty close to accurate, now that I'm looking at it. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to get the proper red stripage in on here. We could also paint it Wanderbot colors or Poe Dameron colors. What happens if I do that? No, we don't want to do that. I might. Oh, yeah, we might want to paint it a lighter gray to match. There we go. Yeah, I could do Poe Dameron colors, but again, it's not based off the Poe Dameron design. That makes it a little bit harder too. I don't know. I'll keep thinking on it. I'll keep working on it. I'm having a good time here though. This is already shaping up to be a pretty fun build, and I can't wait to get some more progress done on this thing. I mean, next episode, pretty much we're gonna get the wings working now that we've got the entire front cone golden. Okay, so if I do that now, that looks weird. I don't know where to get the red stripes in. So I'm just gonna do my best. We'll just do that. I mean, I guess we could just have like a totally lateral stripe with a red nose. No, that looks bad. The other option is I could actually have like a different ramp set up here. Split it up like that? Yeah, maybe we'll do that. That looks kind of nice. There we are. Yeah, it's not going to be a perfect X-Wing. We're not going to be able to have the surface details. The cockpit's going to look all wonky and weird, and everything else is going to be stupid. We might actually still be able to fit a dwarven cockpit in here, now that I'm thinking about it. Or looking at it. Yeah, let's get rid of these. I'll be swapping like 90% of this stuff out as we go along. Also going to have to figure out how to fit all these things in. Thrusters. The whole 9 yards. Either way, really proud of my X-Wing part of an X-Wing. You know, I'm just going to use this as the thumbnail. It doesn't have the wings on. I'm not going to advertise that it's got the wings on. Okay, well, this is a great stopping point. So I'll see you guys in the next episode of Scrap Mechanic. And as always, thanks for watching.